Peace and blessings. This is Lisa Marie Goodson of the Afrocentric Home Decor channel. And thank you y'all for being so patient again with me. As many of you know, I was doing a weekend retreat over the weekend from this Friday, June 23rd to the 25th. It was a spiritual retreat. My husband and I, we made nothing but raw food. We catered to 10 women. It was in this place called Eno River State Park in Durham, North Carolina. We had the beautiful river flowing. I got to insert some pictures. I think I took, I know I did, I took a couple of pictures of the way I set up the table, because we have to talk about how to set up tables for outdoor events. I know a lot of you are doing, like, you know, barbecues or get-togethers, gatherings, porch things, and I know you see a lot of it on YouTube, but I wanted to show you how I did it. It was Afrocentric decor as far as the table goes, as far as the bright colors. I definitely brightened it up, and it was really beautiful. And we had the raw potato salad sitting in one bowl and the raw tuna in another. People felt like they had fish, potato salad. We had collard greens. It was raw. So what I love people were saying is that it was like good old Southern food. This was from the Southerners, but it was raw style. So it was a great event, 10 women, it was a retreat. We're going to do another one. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little more, less roughing it, but it was beautiful. We went with the flow, and we were in nature, and we were surrounded by trees, and the birds singing, and the bees, and it was just beautiful, y'all. It was wonderful, and it really centered me. I really feel like I'm in a different place. I feel more calm, more loving. My heart is open more. All the things that living and being around, or even visiting for a weekend live plants, being around the trees, being around nature. So I know for a lot of us, the idea of getting out in nature and being out where there's bees and trees and bugs, which we had all this kind of natural insect repellent, and I'll tell you some of the stuff that we did, but I'll do that on another Afrocentric video about how to really be outside and be outdoors and really not have bugs bother you at all, because the repellents were natural, they worked, they were amazing, but also too the benefits of even just being out in all that green. And like I said, I know that many of us will not be able to be outside for many reasons. I know a lot of people have allergies and different kinds of hay fevers, but there's even remedies for that, so you can enjoy nature or just really want the idea of nature. What about in the wintertime, when it's too cold to go out in nature? What about if you're not feeling well, but you want to get out, but you can't get outside outdoors? So the thing is, how do you bring nature into your home? What I see a lot on the home decor videos, which I love, and remember, sometimes we're inspired by what you don't see. So sometimes you're inspired by what you see. So I was very inspired to create this channel by what I didn't see. And what I noticed from the women and a lot of the ladies that I love and love their decor was, first of all, I didn't see a lot of Afrocentric, meaning themselves in the center of their home, images of who they were, but I also did not see a lot of live plants. I mean, yes, I will get myself Dollar Tree flowers, and I think they're beautiful, they're silk, they're colorful, they're long-lasting, but you have to, and I mean really have to have, I believe, some live plants. It's like you have to eat live foods in your life, in your diet. You have to have live plants in your life. And so we want to talk about how to keep the air clean, how plants are actually natural air cleansers. They actually pull out all the toxins, even the dust. If you notice that the dust will actually fall on the plants. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that I get a rag. So I'm asking my husband, honey, could you give me a napkin, a rag, something, even a paper towel. Paper towel roll is great, because I'm going to show them how to wipe down their plants as well. And I want to show you how the plants is actually collecting all the dust. The plants is pulling out all the negativity from the cell phones, from so many different things, from the computers, from the box that I always forget what that thing is called. What do you call that? The box that the computer is connected to. But all of that, turning off the internet, the Wi-Fi, all of it, it can be very detrimental. Sometimes you're feeling lethargic, sometimes you're feeling tired, you don't know why, or you're feeling extra sleepy, or you're feeling sluggish, you can't breathe. A lot of times it's all of these things that are operating not just inside your home, but outside that's so close to your home that's affecting you. All the wiring that we have to plug in all our gadgets, all of that could be possibly toxic. But nature has us covered. And why do I say that? Plants are a wonderful way to put specific plants, and actually plants in general. Now there are some specific plants that are like the top 10, air cleaners that are plants that are out there, and we have a few of those, and I'll point those out. But in general, what I wanted to do, this is a request. Somebody wanted to know, they asked me, Sister Lisa Marie, how do you grow your plants? What is the secret? First of all, I am not a horticulturist or permaculturist. I'm not even an expert at plant growing. I just know what I've learned from my husband, and not just listening and watching him, but actually growing them myself. If many of you see some of my old videos, you see I grew some beautiful plants, and the reason why I'm telling you about that is I had no light. My lighting was very poor. My husband actually in his space had a lot of beautiful lighting. His was so much, let me tell you, there could be too much light and there could be too little light. He had to kind of shade his a bit because he had so much light. I had not good light at all. And in my mind, I thought if you don't have a lot of sunlight, you can't grow plants. And that's not true. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about, first I want you, before you start bringing plants into your home, evaluate the space. Number one is evaluate the space. Do you find that you have very little light? I have very little natural light coming into the living room, and that's where I had most of my plants. And I had some light more in the kitchen, but still sporadically. So first, definitely you have to decide on what kind do you, or you might have a space that it's direct sun and it's a lot of light. There's better plants to grow in that area, and there's better plants to grow in the shade, and then there's plants that do well in all of it. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. So for me, for this particular place, I really love that I think that it has a balanced amount of light, not too direct, but also not low light. If you have low light, what I did when I went into Home Depot, at this point, this is what I was buying at Home Depot. You can buy plants at Lowe's. You can buy plants at Walmart. I'll tell you about some of the plants we picked up. And also we bought some plants from Farmers Market. Other hardware stores in your neighborhood may have it. And what you first want to do is decide. So when I go into, let's say I go into a Lowe's or a Home Depot and I absolutely fall in love with a plant, I actually take out my cell phone and I look at the name of the plant, which is usually there at the Homes or Lowe's, Home Depot, Lowe's, and I look it up and I say, how to grow the spider plant, how to grow a snake plant, how to grow at home. It gives you all of it. It needs low light. It needs direct light. It needs indirect sunlight. It tells you. And then you'll know from your space how that plant's going to operate in your home. Just know, too, that sometimes it'll say it needs lots of sunlight, and you might not have lots. You may have little. You can still grow that plant in that little bit of sunlight. Will it grow as somebody who has as big as somebody who has a lot of sunlight? Maybe not, but it'll grow perfectly for your space. My husband and I have had the same plants. Some of my plants have not grown as big as his, but also he had these like really high ceilings, so he had lots of room to grow, but he had more sun. And there's some plants that he had and I had that grew in my space, like the pothos, which I showed you, which he had some trouble at first in his space. Then eventually it did grow. It's not like a direct science. It's not about somebody having a green thumb. Get that out of your head. I now know that that's not true. I can tell you that I used to kill plants within 30 days of purchasing it, maybe sooner. It had nothing to do with some people are born with a green thumb and some people are not. That I can tell you for sure, because I used to kill plants and now I don't. So what was the secret? First of all, I didn't understand the lighting, the kind of place that I had, although I don't think that you can still make a mistake even with the lighting. The biggest mistake that most people make with plants is we over-water it. We think that we have to keep watering it. If we see it yellowing, we water it. If we see it dry, we water it. If we see it not growing, we water it. And those are not the things that you want to do. The best thing you can do for a plant is leave it alone. What I like to do is I like to pick a day a week that's the day that I check to see if my plants need watering. Now check it out. Listen to what I said. I said the day that I check to see if my plants need watering. Because depending on the season, sometimes in the winter time, the plants don't need as much water because it's not as much sun or dryness or heat to pull out the water from the plant, or to help the plant will evaporate the water. So a lot of times you don't have to water as much in the winter. But I'm still going to tell you about how you can make sure that you do it right all the time. Sometimes in the summertime, that you might have to water it still once a week, but you might have to water it, add more water than you normally would in the winter. So you have to evaluate. Easy stuff to do. So this is what I do. I pick a day of the week. My day is Monday. Every Monday, I go to every plant in the house, and I literally, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you this plant right here. So, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. So what I do is, now we got this plant right here from Home Depot. I remember, not Home Depot, I'm sorry, Walmart. Walmart had the barn plants. It's Walmart, Home Depot, I think it's Walmart. And this plant is just absolutely gorgeous. It was tiny, it was small. It was funny because this was the plant that when we came out of Walmart, I remember there was a woman, an Asian woman, who said that she practiced feng shui. Feng shui is the art of placement. And feng shui believes that in your entranceway, when you enter your home, there should be plants to welcome people. And in general, feng shui says that any plants that you have in your home, if they are dying, look at what corner it's in, because every corner represents a part of your life, whether it's your romantic life, your family life, your career life, your travel or adventure life. And if that plant is in that corner, then that energy of that particular category in your life will be dead as well. So what you want to do is, this plant was very small. Let me tell you, I think my husband's going to have to get a little closer and come some zooming in. Let me tell you the sign of a healthy plant. And so this is it. One thing, this plant was very small. The leaves are all standing very beautifully. Another thing, a sign of that this plant is doing well. Look at this new growth. This is a new one growing in. So this is another one that's actually a new growth. And this one here, and if my husband goes a little deeper, or maybe we can see it from here, this is actually another one that actually is growing too. So now you're able to see that the plant itself is healthy because there's growth. The reason why I say it to you, a lot of us get nervous and we go, oh my goodness, I don't know if it's growing. Check to see if you see new leaves beginning to open or sprouting up. Also, look how the plant stands. The plant stands really nicely, so it shows you that it's healthy and happy. Now remember, my day is Monday, so this is what I do. On Monday, I come and I literally put my fingers in the soil. I actually check the soil. If the top part of the soil, sometimes I go deeper if I want to make sure it's dry, then on that Monday, and I do this with every single plant in the house, then I will put my water in. But I look for other things too. I look for if the top soil is dry, but I also look for if it's drooping like it was Monday. It was before Monday. It was actually just the bottom leaves were drooping a bit, and because it was hot, and when it's really hot, it needed probably more water last Monday. But it's okay. If I catch it every Monday, I'm fine. This plant, I find I need to water it every Monday. And let me tell you how much water I put. Hold on, ladies. Because this is the things people want to know. How much water? This right here, this is this cup that I have here. It is 16 ounces. It's 2 cups. So but it's not to say you do the same. I remember that I used to probably put 1 cup in. Sometimes I put the full 2. Depending on how dry it is, I'll go for 2. I would never put more than 2 cups of water in this plant. And I wouldn't even sometimes put that. I would probably put even less. But this filled, which would be up to here, would be 2 cups. This is what I'm putting in this plant because this plant is maturing and growing. Again, if I checked it and didn't need as much water, I put a lot less water. So let me just tell you some of the things that I want to do. I want to show you that even the best person, the best conditions a plant can get dry. So let me just show you some of the things that I do. Like let's say right here, if you go right under here, my husband could probably get there. This is dead, right? So you don't need that. It's not going to grow. It's not going to do anything. So you just want to cut that off. First of all, you want to look at, and I keep I'm keeping a little bucket around. And a lot of times, now let me tell you what I did. Don't laugh. I wasn't ready to let it all go. So this over here was all brown, so I cut it. You might want to be a little nicer than that. But even this, if you just wanted to trim that little bit of yellow, you could. So again, I did the same thing here. Don't laugh at me, y'all. And then let me see, there's other places. So there's some places that I would actually, if I really felt like it needed it, I would give it a great little trim, just like you would. Another thing that plants like, because the trimming process, let me tell you what it does. Not only does it take away the unsightly brown parts that you don't want to see, that's not doing anything for the plant, although sometimes dying leaves are good and you should let them die, it actually gives the nutrients back to the plant. So not all the time that you want to cut them off right away when they die, especially if they're on the bottom. Let them stay there and fall off, and then you can cut the rest off yourself. But what am I doing right now to the plant? My oxygen is actually helping the plant to grow. It allows the plant to thrive. The plant is alive. So it feels very connected to you when you talk. So I literally be like, so how are you this morning? Let me see how you looking. Oh, let me see. Oh, I see one in there. Let me get that. And I'll do this. So I'm talking and I'm clipping and I'm taking things off and I'm looking at it and I'm touching it. I'm continually touching it. I'm looking around. I'm going inside. This is the secret. And my mother taught me this when we were kids. My mother was fabulous at growing plants. I'm going to get on this side. My mother was fabulous at growing plants. And this is the kind of stuff that she would teach us. She always said that you should talk to your plants. So to me, I mean, if I was to check on my child or any other baby or a child, I'd be like, how are you this morning? Look at my baby. Did you sleep well? Oh, you're looking so good. Look at you. And then I start listening. Now, y'all want to go there. But I start listening to it. Hold on. Because I want to show you something else I do. I start listening to the plant. And if you're really in tune, the plant will tell you what it needs. I need to be moved more into the sunlight. So evaluate, does it need more sun? Is it getting too much sun? Move it away from the sunlight. But don't water it more than once a week. This is another way. Remember I said that the plant collects dust. And if you want to bring a shine back to your plant, now people, you could actually wet this. I actually don't wet it, but I actually do sometimes. You can wet a paper towel and literally just gently rub. And this is what, I mean, this you don't even have to do a lot. You might want to do this once a month, if that much, because it's a time consuming to go through every leaf. But I had a plan and I would do it. And just rubbing it, it actually brings the beautiful green and the shine back in there. Because you're removing the dust that it caught for you, you're actually removing it. And it really makes it beautiful. Like I'm going to spend a day and put on some good music. That's what I'll tell you I do. If I did this when I used to do this when I lived in my own space, I would actually put music on and I would sit there and wipe it down. It really is a difference. You really see the beauty and the shine come out. And every last one of them have the ability to look that beautiful. So this is something that you can do. So you're touching it and you're really loving it and you're helping it to grow. Now let's look at another example. This is a success, right? Let's look at something that's a little different and that every plant has a different personality, like children, and so they react differently. So this plant here, we recently purchased this plant. Within a few days of purchasing it, it started to droop tremendously. And it was looking like, now some might say, oh no, the plant was drooping. I should throw it out. I killed it. No, 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 no. The first thing you want to do is when we bought the plant, we transported in the back seat of the car and we didn't go home right away. And so it was in the car for hours. Sometimes it doesn't quite adjust to the moving, but doesn't mean it's dead. So what we did was we just did what we were going to do. We placed it up high because this light, we know this window grows plants. So know your growing spots as well. And so it was all drooping. I mean drooping, y'all. And we just put it up here and we gave it some water. And I'm not exaggerating to you. Within hours, everything started standing. Again, every Monday I come here. Monday I do this one. Now I'm coming here. So here I am for Monday. I am looking at it again. I'm testing the soil. This one tells me something different. I don't have to test the soil with this one. It droops when it needs more water. And when I put enough water back in, it actually comes back to life. Again, I don't go past the 2 cups. I usually put in a little bit. This one will get the 2 cups. This one loves it. Again, Sunday, the day before yesterday, I noticed that it was drooping again. You know what that tells me? That this one needs more water than this one. That's what my mind now knows. Every Sunday or before Sunday, it starts to droop. So now I put an ample amount of water on my Mondays that should last me again to the next Monday. This plant actually has flowers at the tips, and it's a beautiful plant. It's brand new. Today it looks heavenly because I watered it yesterday. When you have a drooping plant and then you water it, check it in 24 hours and you'll notice that the water has been absorbed and the plant starts to thrive. So that plant's looking way better today than it did yesterday. And so I'm going to stick with it. This plant's amazing. This plant is super amazing. Now this, I wouldn't wipe down those leaves because they're too small, nor would I wipe down these, nor do I have to. This one has a natural kind of moist finish. This one is bananas, I mean like in a good way. It was just, I'm not exaggerating, it was this small. Don't look at all this hanging. That was not there. None of this was here. This plant, we called it the Afro plant because it had a nice round little afro. And now look at it, it is super long. This plant, some plants just grow on their own and you don't really have to do anything. This is the same thing. On Monday, I do the same thing. You see me, I'm just looking for dead leaves. So on Monday, and this I don't really cut because some of them will dry out enough that you can just pick them. But again, I don't check to see if this one needs water. I know it. I used to check and I still do. I know that every week it likes water. I do about 1.5 cups of water in this particular one. You can do more or less. It depends on your plant. And I'm not going to exaggerate to you that I do anything to this plant. This plant just grows. I don't spray it. I don't do any of those things. So something unique that I want to show you. This plant was called the Easter lily, and on top, as you can see where I cut it, it actually had lilies, and they were beautiful and fragrant. But of course they say, of course I didn't know the Easter lilies died after Easter or something like that. I didn't realize that, but they do. But I actually kept the plant, and I can still see it looking beautiful and green and a lot of growth. This plant needs very little water. I probably come every Monday, out of 4 Mondays of the month, I water it one time. Once a month. There's just, nobody told me that. It just don't like a lot of water. It did say that if the topsoil is dry, water it. The whole plant almost, just about the whole plant. I'll get one that really needs the whole plant to be dry before you water it. This one just does not need a lot of water. And I know that. I had 2 of them. The other one I probably killed because I kept thinking it needed more water. Not a lot of water. And so if you keep your Easter lilies, don't water it a lot. Check it, but don't water it a lot. I say if I do it on 4 Mondays, only 1 Monday a month. Let me show you about this aloe plant. This aloe plant was in a smaller container. I did what the guy that sold us the plant told us to do, to drench it in water for 15 minutes. Just let running water pour into the pot. And then don't water it for a month or until fully dried out. You want aloes to dry out. They like sun, but believe it or not, it gets sunlight here. It's coming through. And so I had it there. One thing about plants dying too, if they're in the area where they're always being pulled, pushed, knocked down, like you got to go around them and you got to go through them because you got to get to a part of your living room or your bedroom, they will break. I noticed this one was on the windowsill and it kept breaking on little parts of the top, and this one is even like that because the shade, when we put the shade down, kept knocking it. When you're transporting the plant from the original container you got it into another container in order for it to have room to grow, it's in a fragile state. It's like a newborn just coming home. So you want to keep it warm, right? You want to bathe it very gently. You want to only give it breast milk, right? There's different things you have to do with a newborn than you do with a toddler. And the same care is for this. So this needs to be transported, and up here it will not be bothered, and I think that it's going to thrive. Again, you want it to be fully dried. Aloes really do best left alone, fully dried out before you even think about watering it again. That may be a month or a month and a half, so 4 to 6 weeks. That's how you grow an aloe. Aloes are great plants. Okay, we're going to turn over to this other plant I'm going to show you. And we're going to do a little pruning on this plant. So this plant here is one of the first plants we bought. And I think one of them we got from Home Depot or Lowe's. And I feel like it was this one. Because the other one, I know we got that from Walmart because I remember. This plant I absolutely love. This plant does not need a lot of water. Every Monday, again, I go through every plant in the house. It's Monday, I check the soil. This soil is always moist. I probably water this plant once a month. Now, again, yours may vary, yours may be different, but there's, like I see there's little ends here, so I'm cutting this end off. So sometimes I'll do that, I'll give it a nice trim. But look, even as I'm talking to you, I'm kind of talking to it. My oxygen is connecting to it. So I will cut it off. Sometimes I just spend time cutting things off just to have some time with the plant. So the plant can actually get my energy and my vibe. And so I'll just do the same thing here. I'm not going to get them all in the bucket all the time, so I'll allow it to fall and then I'll vacuum later. But you get the idea of this plant doesn't need a lot of attention. It doesn't even want it. All it wants to do is to have very little water and be left alone. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, as you see, check it out. This plant is far away from the window. It's still growing. Would it grow more in front of the window? Maybe it would. And would it actually need more water if it was closer to the window? Maybe it would. Maybe the fact that it doesn't need a lot of water weekly is because it's so far away from the sun. But the fact is, it's growing and it looks healthy. And of course, there's some spots that of course we can always cut off. But again, that's a day that you have to spend with your plants. It's like I said, you can put your music on, put some good music on, don't put harsh music on. The plant doesn't like that. Unless your plant's into rock and roll, because your plant may be into heavy metal or rock and roll, or my plant likes African music and some good R&B. So yeah, that's what I give my plant. That's what she told me. And another thing too, you can give your plant names, or you can create a, say this is a male plant, call it a her or him. There's some to me that's clearly female and some male, and this is not scientifically, because there could be something scientifically to that. I know nothing about that. This is me Afrocentrically connecting to stuff that is live. It brings, this room is always, energy is clean and clear. I sleep like a baby. I know it's pulling toxins from the air. This is a wonderful thing to have, and we're not done. My husband and I, we are big planters. I think, I don't know if separately we had about 30, 40 plants. I know together we probably had about 50 plants. Would you say that's right, Warren? Easily. Because I think I had at least 25, and he had at least 25. So yes, we had, and his space was so big, we was able to have 50 plants. And I'm really not exaggerating that we had that many plants. And they loved each other. They were like coming together. Wonderful union. All right, y'all. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to end up in the living room, where we're going to show you some of the other plants and some of these. Now, the ones I showed you in here, they're not that I know of, are the 10 most, plants that pull out toxins. Oh, except for this one. I was going to say this one is one of them. So this is one of those plants, and I wish I could tell you. I don't know. This looks like it's in the spider family. But my husband's going to find out, and we'll have let you know what plant this one is, because I can't remember. But this plant is one of the plants that pull out the toxin. They all do. Remember that. But there's some that do it more. So again, notice this one too. This one I don't need to wipe down. This one stays very silky. I think too because it maintains the water very well. And then of course you see I'm always touching it, just very gently, to kind of, just like when I used to do water on your hair washing, you was kind of preening the hair. That's what I do with the plants. All right, ladies, follow me into the next room, and I will see you in a minute. All right, ladies. Well, I always assume it's ladies watching, but that's who usually watch these things. It could be men, but okay, ladies. Peace and blessings. So I'm back in the living room, and I wanted to tell you a couple of things. I'm going to show you another aloe. My husband actually picked it up at Home Depot. I remember because it was outside. My husband been wanting a big aloe plant. When we get there, I want to tell you that I wanted to make a correction. The plant itself puts out the oxygen. That's what's keeping the air beautiful, purified, and clean. And we are actually giving it that carbon monoxide. So that is the difference. So I just wanted to say that. Also, a great plant for the bedroom. Why I have 2 aloes in the bedroom is because, or actually 1 aloe. I got the 2 actually in here. And so let me see. Where's the other aloe? That's the 1 aloe, and I'll see the other one, and I'll show you those in a minute. But the aloe is one of the plants that actually really help to purify the air. And that's why they say they're great bedroom plants, because when you're sleeping is when you want to actually have you sleep for 8 hours. That's when you're resting in one place. So you want to be in a place where the plants are actually helping you to do that a lot better. So aloe in the bedroom is wonderful, but aloe anywhere is wonderful. So just a little tip on that. A little correction. So let's come over here. Now we talked about these 10 top plants that are best for air purifying, and so we talked about the aloe is definitely one of them. And we talked about another one. We said it's the snake. So this is the snake plant. This plant, to me, in all of its roughness and everything, there is something about it that's so beautiful. First of all, it is so strong. I wish that y'all could actually see this leaf and feel it, really. The strength of this leaf is unbelievable. This leaf, too, would be very good, and if you wanted to take time, and that would be a lot, But this is one of those ones that if you rubbed it, it would actually get its shine back. It's doing the same thing. So if you want a plant that's going to purify the air, you want a snake plant. There's a lot of reasons why they call it the snake, but look how tall that it grows and stands. The actual head of it actually looks like the head of a snake. Now that I went camping and I've seen a couple of them, and just even the pattern on it. Snake plants, you can't kill them. What I find with snake plants, don't need a lot of water. You notice that it is in the window. Again, our lighting is not direct, but yet it's bright. And so it has bright lighting. And of course, if you notice something about plants, many plants, they get what they need. So you see that the front part of this plant is moving towards the sun, and it's growing even more. Look at that longest one there. It's because the plant knows that it's sun that way, and it wants it. So this makes me believe that, and you notice the ones in the back are shorter, the ones over here are taller. The ones that's getting the most sun are the ones that are growing the fastest. So that's just a clue. I always talk about clues, that this plant likes the sun. Those hardy plants usually can take it, but doesn't. Usually for us, this plant, I check it every Monday as well, doesn't need a lot of water. Another beautiful find is this gorgeous plant. I bought it for the color. This plant, I don't know if my husband, I wanted to notice. Do you notice this is grown too big? This plant was not this full, and I said yes. It was a smaller little fro, we called it, and it's going to do the same thing that green. I'm almost sure it's in the same similar family, because we got it from the same person at that one in the barrel, but it's soft. Again, my husband checks it. He waters it once a week as well. So all the higher plants, my husband actually waters them. But we got our Monday day, and this is when we do it. So you want to bring in pretty color. It's beautiful. It's the same once a week, about the same amount of water, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I know you're going to ask me about these hanging brackets, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Let me show you the plant that's on the list of the top 10 plants to purify your home. And this is let me talk price. Inexpensive. This is called the spider plant, and this plant right here grows and grows and grows and grows. Yes, you will get some that need some chopping or cutting on the ends of the leaves, but this plant is gorgeous. I mean, look here, are there imperfections? Of course. Is there a little dryness? Yes. This plant, it'll grow, it'll look just like this, and it will continue to grow. I don't know how to say, I don't think it needs a lot of water. This is a plant that every Monday I would check. If I left this plant for 2 or 3 weeks, let's say I went away for the week or I went on vacation, this plant would actually probably do better with less water. I noticed that it doesn't even like to take it. I can notice it getting heavier, not from the leaves, but from the water. So I gave it a nice thorough watering, but I will check it next week, maybe I won't. This plant was very tiny when we got it, and it's growing longer and longer and longer, and this is called the spider plant. And you can see why it's a spider plant, all the legs that it has. So it's really beautiful. Easy to grow. I believe one of the easier plants to grow, and I love that plant. We're going to come right over here. So this plant here, we bought this plant, so you see these little pieces. See, sometimes I just pull them off. So I just want to show you real life that they will get brown. This is the parts. Now, two by accident. Sorry. But they will get a little brown. But this is thriving, even with these little, think about, let me just say that to you so you won't think, oh, my plant is growing, it's got brown. And look at the whole plant before you decide that your plant is ruined. Look at the whole plant. So, and go through it, because some of them are done. They've done all that they can do for the plant, and they're going to die. They gave the nutrients that it needed to give, and now they're just time to go. So you want to go through it. Don't be afraid that, oh, wow, the inner. So let me tell you what I think of this one. This one grew tremendously. We actually bought this one as well. With the other one that I said, it just got longer and longer. It was a big afro, and then it grew. What I'm thinking with this plant, since I haven't been in here, and I'll see if my husband agrees, this plant might just need to be turned a little closer to the sun. But, you know, not necessarily, too, because look at how much it's thriving. I mean, this is, if you saw where the plant was, it's incredible. But the parts that you're hearing, that crunchy part, this is the inside. So, of course, there's not as much sun getting in. The only reason why I'm showing you real life, because nobody wants to come and be like, oh, my plants are all so perfect, is because I want you to know that, like, you got to get in there. You don't have to water it, of course, once a week, again, just every Monday, only if needed. If it's not needed, my husband's not giving it any water. But of course, when you see things like this will make you think, well, wow, there's some dry ones. Should I water it more? I don't know if water it more. Maybe give it more water when you do. That's one thing that you could do. Or it might, because it's dry, it may not just be getting enough sun in those areas. So maybe considering slightly turning and seeing what happens from there. But like I said, I'm going to really, this is one I got to say I haven't gone in. This is my husband's one to do. So I'm going to, I'm sure he will too. We're going to go in a little more and just make sure we're not missing something with all the dry leaves. But I think considering the way this plant looks, that this is wonderful. But you see how, look, don't be scared of your own plant. Don't be scared of your plant. Don't be scared that it's not like when your hair's falling out and you're like, oh my God, my hair is some of it is shedding. And in a sense it is like that because a lot of times when your hair sheds, it's not because something's wrong, it's because it's finished doing what it's doing and now it's time for it to shed. And this is going to happen the same way. So again, I'll talk to my husband about this when we get off the and, you know, when we get together and he can tell me what he thinks that these bottom pieces need. It just might be sun, it might be more water, and we'll evaluate that together. But yes, this is what I do. I just want you to know that periodically exactly what I'm doing is what I want you to do. Because if it's a lot of this, then I'm going to look at that and I'm going to readjust. I'm going to adjust it. And so look at this. But the ones that are healthy, they feel incredibly healthy, like so beautiful. So that's good. And when they fall, and that's what you want to do, shake it. Shake it and let them go. Release and let go. Don't be afraid. Just let it go. And you know, I can do more of that as I get off camera, but this is what I do. Like I said, you know, you see me, my little self. I need a steps ladder to get up there. But I'm going to do it just to see what we got going here. Like I see more here, so yeah. So anyway, you know what, I start getting caught up in it, y'all, so, but you see how they're falling out? Do that, let them fall. Get rid of all those dead leaves, let them fall. And almost is representing all the stuff in your life you no longer need. But my suggestion is to get on top of it, because of course it will go into your eyes. And so yeah, and you're just watching me take those off, because I want to show you that a lot of you, sometimes we're scared of our plants too. And we can't be scared to lose some of them to gain some other ones, okay? So I'm going to show you this story. I'm just going to, oh my God, when we get on this side, I'm going to, not now, I want to show you how massive that plant that I was just messing with is. It is growing because it's getting the sun over here, it's getting the sun from the top. Understand that anything that big is going to have dry spots. And our job, my husband and I, is to make sure that we go in there and we take them out and we allow them to fall. Now these plants here we got from, was it outside of Walmart or was that Home Depot? It was whoever had the outside gardening. It was Home Depot? Home Depot, yeah, it was Home Depot. And what I love about this plant, so let me tell you, this is traditionally an outdoor plant. It's to be planted in the ground. People tell me they've seen it in front of people's outside their yards. This is the stuff that's outdoor, but we loved it and it said, and what I did is called spikes. This plant is called spikes. I'm going to put it on the floor in a minute. What I did was, when I was in, I'll put that here so you can see it. When I was in Home Depot, me and my husband, we saw this and we fell in love. So the same variety, two different colors. And we knew that, I said, my husband was like, oh, I think all the plants outdoor are for outdoors, right? So I said, okay, well, let me check to see if we can grow it indoors. If you like a plant, even though it may be traditionally grown outdoors, if you like it, there's a possibility that you can grow it indoors. And so they told us that we could grow it indoors. It needed light and water. And so every Monday, I do the same exact thing. The first time I got it, I kind of missed it. I noticed it that Monday when I watered it, which was yesterday, I did see some of it drying, so I knew it needed water, and I already see the improvement. It's going to be a gorgeous plant. I mean, I imagine that it grows high. I don't know if it grows out or if it grows high, but it looks like it grows high. So this will be a great kind of a tree almost, like a floor plant that will eventually change the pots. You see we got potting that we got now, so we just put it inside. Because when I first buy a plant, I don't like to transport it so quickly. I want to give it a chance to be used to the space that it's in and then I'll transport it once I feel like it's strong enough and has acclimated to its new environment. So that's my tip. This one is doing so beautifully. Y'all remember I showed you this aloe plant. All I did was do exactly what it said. I see little weeds growing in it, which is, I think is cool. Because when there's weeds, there's growth to me and health. And so I drenched it. I put it in the sink. I ran water over it, just light water, for 15 minutes straight or till it drenched. I think I stopped at the drenching point. And it's, when you feel the bottom of it is all thick and not thin, this is filled, and I'm not going to water it for another month. You got the roots coming out. We're going to transport this. I wouldn't even do it now because it's doing well. Can't wait to use this plant. This plant is really beautiful, so I'm just loving it. I'm going to keep it right where it is. Now this aloe plant, and I'm going to move those out the way, because we're going to go look at this other aloe plant that my husband bought from Home Depot. Like I said, I remember that very well. It was actually outdoors, so if you're looking for plants, check the stores, the big stores like the Home Depots, the Lowe's. Of course, they're usually outdoors, so you want to look at that. This was a stupid sale, as I say. I think this plant was almost, well, this was probably $5 or $6, and I think this was $12, maybe the most. The most, it was $12. My husband really said, I love these little small ones, but I want a big one, and we found it. So same thing. We didn't do anything to this one. I don't think, have we watered it yet? I don't know if I watered it because I can feel it. So that's it. We ain't going to water it again. We're not going to water it again. I can feel that I just watered it yesterday. And now it will not get, because it was dry as a bone. It was. I remember it was all coming back. It was dry as a bone. I watered it, and we will not water it probably for another month, but I'll check it every Monday, but I'm sure it's going to be fine. So the aloe, again, it gives out the most oxygen. It's so cleaning and refreshing for the air, and it's just beautiful to look at. Aloe, a piece of it, once it starts thriving, you can start breaking pieces off. You can use the inside of the aloe to put in water as an internal cleaner. You can put it on your skin for a facial or mask, rather, and you can actually use it for cuts and burns and scrapes. Aloe is the bomb. This plant we got from Walmart. This plant is going to be okay. This plant grows with all the abuse. It was really in an awkward place before because, you know, we closed the window. And so my husband, he kept dropping it because it's true, it was in an awkward place. So if you come near it, it drops. And it's still growing. I see a new one coming in here. I see this new one that's about to come here. I see this one that just came. This plant is going to be one of them plants that's not going to die. Again, I water it once a week. I put about I fill up that cup that you saw, so it's a 2-cup container. This one is doing very well. Again, don't worry. And this is another one that you can actually wipe down, and it'll give that nice shine back, and it's just beautiful. This one's when you see it a little yellowing, that to me means that maybe I'm putting too much water, so I'm going to ease up on the water on this one. This one indicates to me that possibly it's a little yellow, that I might be putting too much water because I tend to be the one to water this one. So I'm going to really check it next week and make sure that I don't put as much water. But again, here's another new growth. We got some new growth. This one is wild. This one's going to be a tree. So we need to know. All right, ladies. So I'm going to find a place to stand and just, very important. Very important. My husband. This is the plant that no one could kill unless you really want to, because you could kill anything if you want to. But, actually, I want you to see the side of this one. I'll get there. It's called pothos, P-O-T-H-O-S, P-O-T-H-O-S. You can get this at Lowe's, Home Depot, down the street, up the road. Like, everywhere sells a pothos. It don't even matter really what condition you originally get it in. It will not die if you do a couple of things. I find, in my space, pothos clue, low light, or very little light, pothos will grow. Pothos will grow in offices. The first time I ever remember seeing pothos is when I was younger, and I worked in offices in New York. Every office had pothos. You can cut a piece off, and all they did was put it in a cup with water, and it would grow more. So this shows you, so in my mind, when I thought about my place, I used to have very low light or very low sunlight, and I wanted to grow in a house. I knew pothos was working. If it can grow in an office, which my office had no windows, I knew it could grow in my home, and it did very well. If you're growing it in low light, the soil is going to stay wetter longer. This would not be watered every week. It's going to maintain its water. If you're growing it in a lot of sunlight or a lot of light in general, it might expel more water, so therefore you might want to adjust it. Check it every week. If it doesn't need watering, don't water it. I think that's the big thing for us, isn't it? Isn't that the biggest thing, is that we think, no, I got to water at least once a week. No, you have to check it to see if it needs to be watered. It's just that simple. So everything has needs, and everything has different needs at different times, and so you want to concentrate on knowing what those needs are. So this pothos, when I show you this in a month, it will be hitting this. We'll have to reevaluate everything. Let me just tell you a little bit about these brackets. I'm just going to call them brackets. They actually are sold at Home Depot, and they actually come with the screws or the nails, the screws already. So you actually can use the screws and the nails. If you don't have, my husband had to use a drill and a bit to actually put that in, and he had to use those reinforcers to put them in. You don't have to do all that. If you have a regular home with regular sheetrock or your regular walls, the apparatus, which is this bracket, they come small, they come medium, they come large, they come by inches. You can put those in the wall, and you'll have your hanging plants, so you can hang, especially if you don't have a lot of floor space, but you want to go vertical instead of horizontally when you don't have a lot of floor space. And you can get those at Lowe's, Home Depot, and I know Walmart has it too, because Walmart has everything, to be honest. And I know that it has that. Pothos is also in the 10, so I'm not going to name all the 10. I'm not even going to try. I've named the ones that we have. We have the spider plant, the snake plant, the aloe, the pothos, and there's a couple. There's a philodendron that we don't have now, but we will, and they are excellent, and they grow and grow and grow. And there's a couple of other ones that I kind of remember, like visually, but I can't remember now. But don't worry, this is what I want to say. So, buy plants. Pick something. My husband always says, and he's right, pick something that calls you. We don't look at the plant if the plant is for indoor, outdoor, low light, high light. We just look at the plant and go, oh my God, we're in the store. I really like that plant. Then I pull out my cell phone, because you all got one with you, and I look the plant up and see the growing conditions and where in my house would that plant fit, where it would grow well and it would work, and I could still enjoy it and love it. Either way, if you do these things, if you don't water it, if you don't overwater it, which means pick a day of the week and make that your watering day. I know somebody's going to say, what if you skipped the day of the week? What if you forgot? Then water it the very day that you remembered. And then do you go a week from that? You evaluate it. You look at Monday. If it's not Monday, it's probably going to have enough water, then you go to the next Monday. Or if you forget for weeks, look at the condition and see what the plant needs. So no overwatering. I say pruning, go through it often. Put your hands up in it. See what parts are dry. Evaluate it. Notice patterns when the season changes. Notice when the plant needs more water, more sun, less sun, all of those things, Also, too, like plant food, I know my husband occasionally puts plant food in. We haven't done that in here. If we do that, I'll let you know and I'll show you. The other thing is talk to it. Love it. Thank it for its presence and being in your life. Look at the new growth. Look at it as growth in your own life. And most of all, enjoy them. Love them, and look at them and give thanks for them, because they are really a blessing from the Creator, a blessing from the Most High. And I'm very thankful for them. I think, why is this Afrocentric home decor? Because if you're talking about Africa or things Afrocentric, because I consider Southern living, Black Southern life, Afrocentric. Caribbean life, Afrocentric. Black Latina life, Afrocentric. And of course, African life. And I feel like one thing is nature, that people, Black folks, African people, and I really believe all people of color, but particularly if we're talking about Black folks here, we know the connection between nature and man and woman. And that if you don't have that in your home, you cut off a part of yourself. And you cut off the ability to stay very healthy and whole and complete. So thank you so much. I know it was long, but y'all like the long ones. And when I don't come for a long time, I always say it. This is what I do. And I will see you all in the next video. I don't know what it's going to be, but it will be good. I love you all with all my heart. Thank you for coming into our home again. And I want to thank the sister that requested that I do a video on plants. This is Lisa Marie Goodson of the Afrocentric Home Decor channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace and blessings.